Hello, everybody. This is Elihu.
And this is Peter. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. This is the first episode of 2021.
It is the first episode.
And today we are going to talk about 3 bets that we have for 2021. And that is the Miami tech scene and whether or not it's going to boom. We're going to talk about the new social media app that is mainly audio called
Clubhouse.
I'm sure some of you have heard of it by now. And we're also going to be talking about Substack, which is an email newsletter platform. Kind of like Medium, but a little different. We'll get into that.
Yep. And Miami, the next startup hub?
I think so. At least, I don't know.
We might be able to find out whether Miami's the next startup hub, whether Clubhouse is going to be the next social media giant.
Whether Substack is going to be the next platform where you get all your news from directly through email.
So let's get right into it. We have this TechCrunch article here. Startup cynicism and Substack, or Clubhouse, or Miami, or ... And if you build it, they will come. But they sure as hell are going to complain about everything until they do. You know what? This is a common misconception in the startup world. When I was working at a new construction tech startup for real estate, you know, this concept of if you build it, they will come, I don't agree with. You have to really please your users and grow empathy with them. But they're right about the fact that they will complain about everything you do because everyone's a critic. There are some positive people out there.
And you can't please everyone either.
You can't.
You're never going to satisfy every single person that uses your product.
But this article says there were millions of bets made in the tech industry last year. Some of those bets involved actual venture capital dollars. Others involved individual decisions on where to live. Do you bet on the future of San Francisco, or do you want to partake in the growth of some other startup hub? Are you going to launch this new feature in your product or improve one of your existing ones? Do you switch jobs or stay and double down? But most of these bets, just 3 seem to have achieved collective hysterical frenzy in the industry as we close out this year. A bet on the future of media, a bet in the future of audio media, and a bet on the future of one of America's greatest cities.
That's us.
So let's talk. Yeah, Miami, first of all, has been anticipated as the next startup hub since 2016. And I remember being in the thick of it in 2018, 2017, working with this new construction tech startup and going to Emerge Americas, working with Melissa Medina, and you know she basically started this event, Emerge Americas, where they got a bunch of startups and investors, and a very prominent startup from Miami rose from there called Daycation. Matt Boney, I'm very grateful to him, a good friend of mine. But let's talk about Clubhouse before we get into Miami, because we tend to talk about Miami frequently on the show, but I think we should start talking about these private companies. I mean, audio media.
So we've talked about audio platforms before on this channel and how they are seeing a huge emergence in market share right now. And Clubhouse seems to be the main or the running up competitor.
Well, firstly, what is Clubhouse?
So Clubhouse is this platform where you can go on. It's basically a mix of Twitter's feed and a radio. And it's basically a bunch of chat rooms where there are some people speaking and you go in to listen to them. It's all audio based. Pretty cool. You go into chat rooms that are labeled topics that you're interested in, for example. And the idea is pretty solid. I mean, there isn't really a platform out there where you can just have your phone off and actually be engaging with others like this one. And
drop in audio chat. So they only have an app on the App Store.
Yeah, they don't have a website yet.
Is it invite only though?
I'm not entirely sure. Never really used it.
Haven't used it either, but it says, hey, we're working hard to add people to Clubhouse as fast as we can, but right now you need an invite to sign up. Anyone can get one by joining the waitlist or by asking an existing user for one. We really appreciate your patience and can't wait to welcome you. Thank you. And now, if you haven't heard about Clubhouse and you don't really care, this is why you should care. Andreessen Horowitz, one of the most prominent venture capital investment funds, has invested how much, Elihu? I think it's
$12 million.
$12 million into this new fledgling audio chat, invitation only.
I believe he
social
also
media.
valued it at $100 million, or it's just valued at $100 million right now.
Based on the equity investments. I mean, but look at some of these comments. It says here, find your voice and your tribe. Listen, this app is the stage. I said I would stand on and speak to the masses. 2020 said, okay, the stage is virtual, baby girl. But you're let's see. Baby girl, but you gonna be just as profound because now you don't have to worry about hair and makeup. Just speak. This app reviews the art of verb. I'm trying to continue.
No, okay. But thank you, Geechee girl. Really,
Geechee girl. Yeah, I mean, it's tough to look good on camera. That's for sure.
So Clubhouse, what I think was really cool and why it sticks out to me and why I'm betting it'll succeed in the future is because their main way of gaining attraction and traffic to their site is by getting a lot of influencers on there and famous people and actors. So this is very unique to like other social media apps that have existed in the past, like Yo or Yik Yak, that was really famous among college students, or even like Omegle, where they didn't really try to get famous people on their platform first.
That's why they were like short-lived.
Yeah, they were very short-lived. I mean, I don't think they even lasted more than a year.
I only heard of Omegle or Omegle.
Yeah, Omegle got too much nudity. So,
well, this case is just audio, like
but
a
this
podcast.
is just audio, and they've been able to get a lot of famous people on there already, and have people come and listen to them because people love listening to people that are successful. I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So by getting all these influencers on their platform from the very get-go, they're creating a lot of user traffic and recognition in the space. So I'm betting very heavily on them, as well as them also following this trend of audio media, which we can see other platforms like Discord or even Telegram is going to release their own new audio chat rooms on their app. So, I mean, it's a pretty cool trend. We all want to hear ourselves talk, and it's really easy to just get ideas out instead of having to like type them up all the time, like in the case with Twitter.
What's interesting is the type of incentives for people to even come on there are various, and it seems like the app is using, different themes of pop culture to encourage people to listen. And for one, this past week, or perhaps not, maybe this past week, I don't know how recent this article is. Let's see, what date is this? December 29th, so very recent. So I'd say a couple weeks ago.
Was since last year. This article's pretty old, actually.
Yeah, that's a terrible joke. But it says a couple weeks ago, a live Lion King musical, here, let me pull up the article, a live Lion King musical event with thousands of participants was performed through Clubhouse. I wonder how that went.
The potential's big. I mean, that's a lot of people listening on like an app. It's just starting. So
this article poses interesting questions. It's like, are there problems with Substack and Clubhouse? And for sure, evidently, it's. And
we'll talk about Substack. I mean,
but as early companies, they have the obligation to explore the terrain of what they're building, find the key features that compel users to these platforms, and ultimately find their growth formula. There will be problems, trust, and safety chief among them, particularly given the nature of user-contributed content. No startup have been founded, however, that didn't uncover problems along its journey. I mean, look at Facebook. It's a multi-billion-dollar company, and they deal with problems still to this day with news and whatnot. The key question we must ask is whether these companies have the leadership to fix them as they continue building. My sense and hypothetical bet is yes. And I mean, if someone like Andreessen Horowitz is investing in a company like this, they definitely know what they're talking about.
Andreessen Horowitz has clout. In this field.
They have a lot of clout, and we can go into them a little bit further soon. But what about Substack, Elihu? What do you know about Substack?
Before we get to Substack, I'm betting that Clubhouse is going to make it. And I think Mark Zuckerberg is going to want to get in on that action at some point.
But he can't. Antitrust is really got him tied up in a little nugget. I don't know.
I think of it.
That's my opinion.
I think
so.
Get sucked.
Let's get on so this is the Substack website. So it says, take back your mind. Substack is a place for independent writing. Subscribe directly to writers you trust. Sounds like Medium.
So It does sound like Medium,
Yeah.
but the key difference is that the way that they both make money. So Medium makes money through a tier platform where you pay a monthly subscription fee and you have access to all these articles that people write. Whereas in Substack has a monetization strategy where writers charge for people to have their content, and Substack takes a fee from that. So that.
But would the subscribers pay to read these articles?
Yeah, they pay the creators.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's say
readers win too by opting into direct relationships with writers. We can be more selective with how we consume information, honing in on the ideas. Honing in on the ideas, people, and places we find most meaningful.
Yeah, so let's say you're a writer and you're publishing stuff, and I am really interested in the topics that you have to talk about, or write about, rather. And so I will pay you. I will subscribe to you only, and you will directly email me all your new posts.
So it's kind of like Kevin Kelly's 1,000 True Fans idea.
Yes, exactly.
And for those of you who don't know, Kevin Kelly wrote a fantastic article where he says, you only really have to, when you're building your brand or audience, you have to have 1,000 true fans in order to really make a living. Because if you charge 1,000 true fans, loyal fans, $100, a year, that's $100,000 a year. I mean,
nice. Yeah.
you can make a good living off of that. And it says here, when readers pay writers directly, writers can focus on doing the work they care about most. A few hundred paying subscribers can support a livelihood. A few thousand make it lucrative. And that's pretty powerful in the age of the gig economy and in times of individuals detaching from the rat race or the unhappiness I think a majority of the population has felt toward being held down to a corporate job that they're not necessarily privy to because they want to seek out their passions or self-interest and things of that nature or inspire others.
Yeah, it's an overall unique business model, and I can see that format being replicated in other industries, maybe in like music as well. Like music creators can create their own music and people subscribe to that for a very cheap price, obviously.
It's fascinating. People pay for anything.
Yeah, people will.
Really? I mean, it seems. I mean, I don't know how well it'll do, but at least I think Clubhouse will probably do better than Substack.
My bet on Substack for this year is not too hopeful. I think being a developer, I kind of understand the technology that they're using. I mean, anybody can really create a rough draft of this app or this idea. It won't take much for another company to swoop in, maybe have better features on their platform that does something similar as Substack does. So I don't have too many high hopes for this startup, but hey, I like the business model. I think it's cool. I think it gives creators a better opportunity as well as the readers.
It's just like a different form of Patreon or OnlyFans.
But I think Medium is has more of the market share in this. I mean,
yeah, because you don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, well, you do. It's a monthly. Well, you get 3 free articles if you're not paying for it a month, but you do have to subscribe and pay $5, I think, a month if you want like unlimited access. But also, Medium has some good founders on its back. I mean, it has F. Williams, which is the co-founder of Twitter, and his idea was basically create a platform that had more than 140 characters.
I miss the days where you would read articles for free. I like more and more like you're seeing like I don't know. I mean, Wall Street Journal's always charged, but like there's just been. I mean, I think The Economist now charges.
Like you said earlier today, actually, nothing in this world is free.
Right.
So
you're right. Yeah. I mean, I guess they got to a certain point where they had enough users where they're like, hey, we can charge for this service, and it's true. The only free lunch is diversification at the end of the day, and you're right. Yeah, nothing in this world is free, but there is some cynicism amongst these because it doesn't seem like these are truly innovative or groundbreaking disruptors. I mean, they could be.
I can see
if like writers from CNBC or economists or the Wall Street Journal like forget you. I don't want to be paid a salary. I want to make my own living with my writing and research, and then ultimately branch out to Substack or whatever, maybe, or Medium, and ultimately become their own boss. I mean, who would want that? I mean, to become their own boss. I mean, hence that's the reason why we do this podcast. I mean, nonetheless, we like to educate and talk about investing and encourage you all to be privy to what's going on in the world and what's possible.
Well, also in a world where like everything's being automated and AI is taking over, like things like this where we can't really replicate with robots, like creativity, like writing, platforms that, you know, amplify the skill set. I can see where that direction is going and giving those people opportunities, because people need to make money one way or another. And this is a great opportunity for that.
But only a few will really be successful. Not all writers will be as successful. Just like not all podcasts will be successful. Not all YouTube channels will be successful. And, you know, and just like in OnlyFans, I mean, not everybody can be like Gem Wolfie.
Hey, OnlyFans does the same thing too that Clubhouse does.
Yeah,
they
but
attract like famous people first, and then that's why it got so popular.
Well, Clubhouse is more interesting, I think, because of the fact that you do have the interpersonal relationship, but without, you know, seeing people's ugly faces. Yeah. And having to
you see their avatar, but yeah.
But it's not as cringe, you know. I mean, that sometimes I actually prefer just a phone call or a voice message, and if there is like a social media site or platform that allows for that, it's really interesting. We got an invitation. I haven't tried it out. I honestly thought it was a scam when I was first told about it. I was like, I don't really want to click on this link. But
that's usually how it goes with new tech. I thought Webull was a scam, and now it's doing phenomenal.
Wow, I never thought Webull was a scam.
I thought Webull was. I opened their platform. It was so hard to use. I'm like, this is China scam. I just couldn't. But I mean, it's not. It's a great platform, and it's a huge competitor to Robinhood. So, yeah. Let's move on to our third bet of the night, and that is Miami's tech hub.
I thought that would be appropriate, but so let me pull up
or not even tech hub specifically, just startup hub in general.
Yeah, I mean,
and the attraction that we're getting in this city.
Right. So Keith Rabois, which is Keith Rabois is general partner at Founders Fund. Hopefully, I'm saying that correct. He has a unique background as an entrepreneurial executive and investor. Since 2000, he has been instrumental in driving 5 startups from their early stage to successful IPOs. Huge task, hard to achieve. Keith Rabois did it. He has provided seed capital to another 10 companies that are currently blah, blah, but Keith Rabois knows what he's talking about. And he and a few other VCs, venture capitalists, and founders are blazing a trail from San Francisco to Miami.
Para Miami.
Linking up with the local industry to try to build something new and better than what existed before. It's a bet on a place, an optimistic one, that the power of startups and tech can migrate outside of its central hubs. So, you know, Miami has always been a place where it's been fraught with uncertainty.
Hasn't been much innovation, or at least lack thereof.
Like, hasn't been a huge flock of individuals coming here either.
Yeah.
Until this year, because of COVID. I don't mean to say the evil word, but according to an article written by the Miami Herald in December 31st, 2020, an estimated 241,000 residents have moved to the Sunshine State, Florida, from July 2019 to July 2020. So that's year to date from July 2019 to July 2020.
It's a good amount of folks.
And it's the second most, the biggest uptick, the second biggest uptick in new residents, just right behind Texas. I wonder why.
I think because of Austin.
I think, yeah. And Austin's also probably the lockdowns and implications, you know, I mean, in other states like San Francisco and New York.
Well, yes. I mean, New York and San Francisco are too expensive to live in, and they realize it's not worthwhile to stay there anymore when you can just work remotely.
And so also when maybe your business is closed because it's not deemed essential.
Yeah, and maybe, you know, New York is cold. But
also, yeah, you know, the virus is definitely fraught with frightening things that occur, like death. And, you know, granted, if I was the governors in these places, I'd probably make the same decisions they were. But still, this is huge. 241,000 new residents coming to the Sunshine State. I'm sure many of them are coming to Miami or Boynton Beach. I mean,
why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
At least in South Florida. I think South Florida is mainly getting the most.
Yeah, we saw actually on Redfin the housing data that Boynton Beach, believe it or not, is grown 50% year to date. Let me go ahead and pull this up really quick. As far as
and it makes sense, right? I mean, we have fantastic weather. We have a bunch of culture from a bunch of different continents and countries. We have a lot of potential opportunities. You know, I mean, Miami's almost, you know, untouched by innovation. I mean, it has its innovation.
I mean, Magic Leap is one of the biggest funded companies. Is from out of Boca Raton, I believe. Mm-hmm. And we can look into the funding of that. But yeah, I mean, it's very untapped.
And it's a pretty affordable place to live in. I mean, if you compare it to like coming from like California or New York, it's a pretty affordable place to live in. And I mean, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. And this is going to not only affect the innovation and the startup scene, but also the real estate opportunities here. Right. And everything.
I mean, look at this right here. Delray Beach, Florida, 50% growth out of the top 10 metros with the fastest growing sales price. This is straight from Redfin. And, you know, this is huge. 50% growth.
Yeah.
That's ginormous.
I'm a huge advocate.
Florida.
I'm a huge advocate on like making investments in things that I know a lot about, and having lived in Miami for the majority of my life and knowing like how the city is. And I think it's safe to say that I'm betting that Miami's startup hub here is going to boom in 2021. And the 5 years or 10 years after that too. I mean,
and the real estate market is evidently because it's just like what happened in San Francisco when these tech companies were growing with huge amounts of funding, huge valuations, and they're hiring people like crazy and paying large sums for top talent, and ultimately it raised the rent there substantially. It raised the housing price substantially because demand was so high. And right. I mean, look, Delray Beach, 50% growth. That's huge. I mean, relative to the stock market and the S&P 500, I mean, it looks like
nothing.
It is like nothing, but at least for the NASDAQ, it's like the NASDAQ has grown year to date.
Oh, you're talking about Delray. I'm sorry.
Just Delray Beach, yeah. I mean,
I thought you meant
the whole United States housing market has only increased 14% year over year. And we talked in the last episode about how real estate is undervalued relative to all these other assets. And we can show you here, actually, you know, Bitcoin, here's the real estate. As you can see, let me see if I can zoom in here. So real estate over here is the bottom one. If you all can see that, it's pretty small. Let me see if I'll make it bigger. So as you can see, real estate is the XLRE, and the NASDAQ is up here. And so this is over 1 year for today.
So for those of you who are listening, can you go on the real estate? Real estate is down negative 2.18%.
Right. And this is only the real estate investment trust. I know this is a big discrepancy from the 14% growth we were talking about in the U.S. housing median housing prices. But real estate investment trusts are basically like real estate management companies where you basically benefit, where the public can invest in the public markets to benefit from the real estate returns and the safety of real estate through the cash flows of rental income and land appreciation. But
it's like having your own like stock account manager, but for real estate.
Right, but it doesn't necessarily track the sale and resale value of homes, which ultimately Redfin has a better indicator with that 14%. Mm-hmm. But still, the real estate investment trust, 14% for median home price growth from year over year. Negative 2.18% for the real estate investment trust or real estate overall in the U.S. equity sectors relative to other assets like the NASDAQ 100, which are just tech stocks, 47% growth. And Bitcoin, I mean, the winner of all of the year, 361%
Best
growth.
Performing asset of
Best
2020.
performing asset. And we'll pull up the S&P 500 here as well. The S&P 500 grown 16% over the past year, which is still decent, but relative to real estate, it's very undervalued, at least for the whole U.S. housing market. But Delray Beach is 50% growth year to date.
And that's where? That's in South Florida.
South Florida, absolutely. And the only one trailing behind it is Detroit, Michigan. And so 50% growth year over year in comparison with, that's up there with the NASDAQ.
Yeah.
So if you had a property in Delray Beach, Florida, and you bought it last year, you would be making around 2%, 2.5% more than if you were to buy in the NASDAQ. And remember, real estate is a larger sum of money. You know, you have a lot more money tied in growth. I mean, that's huge. $100,000. That's the $50,000 gain.
Yeah.
In a year, right? So don't get me wrong. I think it's interesting to see that Florida is growing. Delray Beach, I don't know why specifically.
Random, yeah.
It's kind of random. I mean, it's beautiful there.
A lot of beaches.
I would like Miami to grow more, but I know Miami's quite pricey relative to the rest, relative to Delray Beach. Let's look at some listings here, actually. 270,000 is the sale price. Yeah, so Miami is more around 500,000. That's what we saw last time. Let's see what Miami is, actually. Let me duplicate this. So, you know, real estate really can help you see the growth within a city, especially, and what drives the market right now? Technology companies. Answer the question. I mean, technology companies are the most successful. Hence the NASDAQ being the best performing, one of the best performing index funds in a sense, or index tracking funds. So let's see what the market insights.
So essentially, if the housing market in South Florida or Miami is doing really well or starting to see an uptrend, then that means that, you know, more companies will start moving here, or that they've already started moving here, and, you know, employees are starting to move to Miami or South Florida for that reason. It's overall like a synergistic relationship that leads to a nice significant growth in
also the remote work, though. The remote work ability.
Yeah, the remote workers too.
I mean, I definitely see why now the sale price, you know, for Miami is around 370,000, and it looks like this would be the median, and then the sale price for Delray is 270,000. So it's $100,000 cheaper to be in Delray, and it's probably a quieter lifestyle. It's relatively far from Miami. Wow.
Yeah.
So there's Miami. This is Delray.
It's way more north.
So definitely interesting.
About 2 hours north.
Yeah, seriously. So, and I mean, we've seen a lot of talk about tech companies and also investment funds from New York coming to Miami, and you know, wanting to get under the sun here in the Sunshine State.
So if you live in Miami, I mean, give yourself a pat on the back, because you're in a pretty. It's looking like a nice, lucrative place to be in right now.
And it says here, it's really so hard to believe that Miami, a metro region of 5.5 million and one of the largest regional economies in the United States, might actually succeed as well. Maybe it literally just required a few major venture capitalists to show up to catalyze the revolution. Nothing got built by cynicism. You can't do it has never created a company. True. Except perhaps to trigger a founder to start something and revolt at the fuselage of negativity. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think I've had many people tell me I couldn't do things, and it's really just struck me to go ahead and point the finger at them and show them that I can.
Yeah, it takes time, though, to build. It takes time to take an early project and grow it. It takes time to build a straight-up, you know, product.
It's unfortunate that it had to be this way, though. Oh, my gosh, it was so zoomed in. I didn't even realize that. Nice. Oh, my God. Throughout that whole time, was it all zoomed in? Could you see the prices? Yeah, okay, you could at least see the prices.
Okay, cool.
That's cool. All right, but I'm going to switch the scene. All right. But anyway, I mean, nonetheless, it's pretty impressive. It's unfortunate that I had to take this much to get it to start at least, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I think that's all we got. So we're betting. I'm betting for Miami. I'm betting for Clubhouse. I'm not too sure on Substack. What about you?
I'm for Clubhouse. Always been a go on Miami, especially for Miami real estate. It's, you know, Miami. It's relatively undervalued relative to the other assets in the economy. So I'm big on it. You know, and you know, we want to talk more about these venture capitalists that are coming down here. There are already venture capital funds who basically are performing here very well and funding companies. I mean, one is Rocker Fuel. They invested in Usain Bolt's scooter company and a tax file company. Let me just pull up Magic Leap just to kind of talk about that really quick, because it's very interesting just before we go. Because Magic Leap is a Florida-based company, that was funded fairly large, a good amount, and their valuation, they're still doing well. So, okay, here's an article real quick from May 21st, 2020. Magic Leap has apparently raised another $350 million in spite of itself. I don't know what that snarky comment was at the end, but $350 million is huge, and this is just another funding round. So let's pull up Magic Leap's funding really quick. Magic Leap.
I don't think you were on the camera.
Yeah, it's zoomed in, so I haven't really fixed it yet. Let's see. School. What happened to Magic Leap? Magic Leap. Well, anyway, I mean, this is a Florida-based company, and right here, Magic Leap. So Magic Leap, let me just pull it up on the screen. They've raised over $3 billion. These people are from Boca Raton, I'm pretty sure. Oh, Plantation, Florida. So Plantation is a bit north from Miami, or south. No, south from Miami. Plantation is...
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure. Let's see where Plantation is, actually. Pull up Plantation. Okay. $499,000 market insights. Okay, $355,000. Around $20,000 cheaper than Miami. Oh, so it is north. So Miami's over here, Plantation's up here. And Magic Leap is from Plantation, and they've raised $3 billion. So Magic Leap is a proprietary wearable technology that enables users to interact with digital devices in a completely visually cinematic way. So they're ultimately like a virtual reality provider and creator, and they only have 38 members. Wow, they're probably very well compensated with that $3 billion. 27 investors. Who's invested in them? Let's see. So they're from Florida. AT&T in the Series D. Wow, that's huge. Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, Alibaba Group, Google, JP Morgan Chase. So these are big names. Very big names. So it's possible. It is possible for startups to grow in Miami and make it, and especially if the VCs are coming here, they're going to have much more exposure to Miami-based startups and hopefully add value and management structure, helping operational costs and funding, and lead to a larger network. So definitely green, definitely going big on Miami. And yeah, I think that let's play Yeet by
Aaron Pino.
Aaron Pino.
Yeah. One last thing that I'm betting on for 2021 is this podcast
and our merch. Let's get on that merch.
If you want to support us,
go.
we're wearing our shirts right now.
Here, Pineapple Chunk shirts.
You can currently get a lot of our merch on Redbubble.
On Instagram, yeah. If you go on our Instagram, actually.
Instagram and our link tree in our bio takes you right to the site. We got stickers. We got shirts. We also got duffel bags. Yeah, help us out. Would really appreciate it.
Yeah, it would really help. Shirts aren't that bad at price. I mean, we also got a shower curtain on there.
Did you actually do that?
I did the shower curtain.
We got a shower curtain too.
So definitely stay tuned for that. And thank you for listening and supporting us. 2021, baby.
2021 to a good year.
Let's go.